Welcome back to another video. This is the high grade Forbidden Gundam from 2012. I did make two previous videos of some Gunpla that were from the same year, and they are pretty much the same build. That would be the high grade Calamity Gundam and the high grade Providence Gundam. They are pretty much the same builds, all three of them, and they are also kind of have the same issues as well. The Providence just fell over. That's one issue that one has. But let's get into this. So, starting off with the appearance here, this kind of surprised me. The design of this one actually kind of grew on me a bit. At first, when I got this, I wasn't really sure if I wanted to get this. But, because honestly, the color scheme is not my thing. But the way that it's done here, I think it has been done very well. Now, of course, this is not going to be 100% color accurate, especially in those legs. Those are in the feet as well. Those are definitely not color accurate. But there are stickers to make up for some, I shouldn't say some, it's very little. So here's the main sticker sheet for the color accuracies and whatnot. So for the top right here, we have that for the eyes. You can see that in there for the eyes. The the bottom right too, those two on the bottom, those are for the front and rear head cameras. And that's it for the actual Gundam. The two triangles here, as well as these two large stickers, they are for these binders or shields on the side of this contraption. Some of you might know I'm not into Gundam Seed, so I have no idea what this is. But yeah, so there's the triangle stickers right there, and those are the bigger stickers that are from these, and that is on both sides of whatever this is. And I know that it's kind of weird that I'm not into Gundam Seed, but I have Gundam Seed Gundams. I just like to build Gunpla, to be honest. And here is this sticker sheet, which the Calamity and the Providence also came with. You can see that there are different options, different factions and whatnot. But I did put those on the Calamity and Providence, so I might put those on the Forbidden as well. But yeah, so I think we should get into the articulation. The articulation for most of these are pretty much the same because the build is the same. Like, they all have the same frame. I'm not sure if that's how I would put it, but the way that the articulation works is definitely the same. So, starting with the head here, it's a double jointed polycap neck. Although this is not what your typical polycap neck looks like today. But it is a ball joint in the bottom, ball joint up top. You can get about that much looking up, and you can get that much looking down, which is nothing. You can do a full 360 rotation. One thing that, while I'm on the head here, one thing that I want to mention is that this centerpiece right here, does not feel like it fits into the head correctly. I keep pushing it back in, and it keeps kind of rubbing itself out. But I really don't know what the issue is, because it surprisingly, in my opinion, it has not fallen off yet. But it did, well, one time during the build, but ever since then it kind of stays there. But I am worried about this popping off. I'm not really sure if that's a secure attachment there. Anyways, moving down to the torso here, we have these bits, the side of the chest here, that swivel up and down. Moving to the back, we have a rotation here, and that's for this side as well. You don't get a real ab crunch here. There is no ball joint. There is a polycap swivel, which you can pull that up a little bit and get some rotation from that. Just like that. So that's how far you can get leaning forwards. And this is how far you get leaning backwards, which is decent enough. But if you push that all the way down, you don't get much at all. Now, the attachment to the shoulder here is just a solid peg. There is no rotation in that. It goes into a polycap socket, which does have some rotation. The shoulder armor is attached to the actual shoulder itself. The shoulder can move not much down. That's actually sliding. Well, maybe it's not sliding. Okay, you can get it all the way down that far, and that's all the way up like that. The arm can extend upwards that far, a little bit over 90 degrees, but you do have the full 360 degree spin right there, a full 360 degree spin at the bicep, single point bend at the elbow, and ball joint wrist, which on this one I've noticed is actually quite loose on both arms. The Calamity and the Providence also has the same issue, so you might want to tighten up those joints a bit. Moving down to the waist, there is no ball joint, so you can't cut those in half. It's actually a cylinder that connects the two, and you can't cut those apart. I guess you could cut those apart, but then I think you would risk having these slide out so easily and losing them. So don't recommend that. But yeah, so it goes up that far, and that's it. It goes down that far. If you have, I forgot to show this off, I guess, but there is a bit of rotation there, but that's about all you get before it clashes with the rear armor. But the side skirts could go 360 degrees, but the torso is in the way. So this is as far as you get backwards. This is as far as you get forwards. And you could bend these out a little bit, but there comes a point. I think right here is the maximum point, and then any further than that, and it will separate from that polycap joint right there. But yeah, so again, rear flap does not move, so there's that for the waist. Moving down to the legs here, the hips. It's a typical ball joint attachment, so you're not going to get much out of this. There is all the way forward again, but this time with the knee armor under the skirt. There is that all the way back. You can have the inwards pose, outwards pose. You're not going to get much with the splits at all. You do have a double jointed knee bend though, which is one bend here, one bend here, and that's all you are going to get out of that. Which is decent enough, but for the year that it came out in, but yeah. They are, again, the Calamity and the Providence are basically the same with this. So they that's what I meant by frame earlier, because they have the same exact joints here and everywhere. So moving down to the ankles, we have a, I'm not sure if this can swivel. Because this is the ankle that's swiveling, not the armor. I think the armor can swivel. It's kind of hard to tell because it's it's either tight or it's not moving. But you do have some ankle rotation here. It actually goes up into that polycap at an angle. So you have this much forward lean, which is really good. You have this much backwards lean, which is also good. Side to side, you get that much going outwards, and about the same going inwards, like so. That is for the articulation. Moving on to the backpack here, which, again, I have no idea what this is. It also has a V-fin, which I thought was actually kind of interesting. 2 large thrusters, these claw thingies. There's 2 polycaps in there that attach to the back of the Gundam, which also have a slight swivel. These little bits right here are for tabbing into the back as well to lock it in place. But for the articulation, we have a swivel polycap right here and a swivel right here. For the shield bits, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 joints in one side. So we have a swivel here. We have a swivel. We have a joint here, a swivel right there, a swivel here, and a swivel, well, you get the point. There's four points of swivels throughout this arm. You can see the attachments there. And then you have, of course, the swivel. Yeah, so there is that. To get this attached, you just take these 2 pegs on the back, make sure they are lined up properly, and you can just slide those right on into those polycaps if you can line them up. And again, those little square tabs will just peg into the back like so, and that is the backpack attached, and that is what it looks like with the backpack attached. Now there is a little bit of a transformation here, which is why this part swivels. You want to untab those little square bits and pull that back using the polycaps inside of the backpack, and then swivel this entire thing up. Make sure you line the head up, and like so, and then reattach. Actually, is it like this? I'm not sure if it's like this, but I think you would just retab this into place. And the reason I thought it was further down was because when it's in this mode, the Gundam head is fully exposed, which I thought kind of looked a bit odd. Again, I have no idea. I have no clue. I have no idea of anything on this Gundam, so I have no idea if this is correct or not. It probably shows me in the manual, but I kept the manual inside the box. But well, mostly because the manual was not translated. This is like 2012, so not translated, so I didn't bother keeping it out. But that is what it looks like, kind of attached. You do have the arms. Before you put this cover over the head, I do recommend moving these forward before covering the head, because I think it makes it a lot more easier if it's facing down like this. You pull it out like that, rotate like that. You want to do it the same on the other side. Rotate, rotate, rotate again, and then have it like that. If you can line it up, it's kind of tricky because like both of those are separate joints. It's like one column here and one column there, and it's like weird. And I failed to put it. Okay, well, that works too. So that is kind of what this looks like. I do wish that there was a bit more like articulation going upwards for this side and downwards, but that does not exist. It's only swivels going outwards and a rotation here, which is kind of interesting. But you can get a nice armored feel out of it. So there is that. Now moving on to the accessories, we do have the scythe. I'm not sure what this is called, but it is a, well, for one, I know it's definitely a scythe in some form, but it also has that little thing up here, that little pokey bit. One thing that these kits have in common, the Calamity, Providence, and the Forbidden, all of their weapons have small handles, which means these weapons that come with these kits do not hold that great. Yeah, so for your attachment, you just slide that in, and the wrist immediately fell. But you can just slide that in like that, and yeah, it doesn't hold the best. It just swivels. I literally had to balance this out for the thumbnail of the video, so just to have it move up that way. But yeah, so there is this weapon, which again, it doesn't hold the best. Also, I am noticing that the chest here does like, it basically has a secondary chest with that little design going on there. Because the vents actually go to the back, which is nice. Something about this mode does look good in my opinion. Well, in the chest. I don't know about the giant armor on the head, but the way that it rotates, because like it goes from one look to another look is what that feels like. Kind of like those like old McDonald's toys, if you remember. They kind of like had like a one gimmick thing, and it changes a chest and whatnot. I don't know. I don't remember fully, but there used to be like toys like that back in the day. There is one more accessory, which is the base adapter, which I will get into later. But I will move these in. I think I'm gonna keep it like this. Because I want to do the comparisons, and I'll just have this again on the base adapter when I do poses. Anyways, here it is compared to the Calamity Gundam. This is the first of this kind of design that I've done a video on. Same joint, same frame, same build. Some differences like the ankle here. But again, these weapons do not hold at all in the hands. These are wiggly. And that broke. Well, it didn't break, but that might need to be glued. Again, swivel front skirts, no ball joint. But yeah, the wrist, I haven't really moved this one much. Okay, the wrist on this one is tight, actually. But yeah, there is that. There's also that same base adapter on the rear. So there's that. Here it is with the Providence Gundam. Again, these weapons do not hold at all. They just wiggle in the hand. And not really much to say about the Providence. Except, well, it does have the same stuff again, so... Again, swivel front skirts, and yeah, they all seem to have this issue of not being able to hold weapons right. And I don't have a typical seed. Well, I do have a typical seed Gundam. Gundam from that show. I do have the Strike Freedom Gundam, but it's on a base adapter, and I don't want to get that down right now. I do have the regular Strike, not Strike. I do have the original like Freedom Gundam high grade, but it's not built yet. I'm not sure when I'm going to get around to that. Probably never. I'm not really a fan of seed Gundams anyway, but I just like building them, to be honest. So, yeah. But I do have the high grade Astray red frame Inversion, which is basically the Gundam Astray from Seed, just inverted colors and whatnot. That's the closest thing that I got to the regular Astray. I don't actually have the regular Astray. But yeah, so they are about the same height, so it's not too much there of a big difference. But there is that. And for the final comparison, cannot forget about the high grade RX-78-2, which from head to head, the RX-78-2 is definitely taller. The Forbidden is a little bit shorter, which is kind of a theme with this kit, with these type of kits. These three, Calamity, Providence, and Forbidden Gundam, they are all the same height. They are the same build structure. So yeah, you're not going to get too many differences out of all three of those. But yeah, so there is that. And to get this onto the action base, you just want to separate the waist, put the adapter in, and close this, or attach this back on. It's kind of difficult when you have the thing up. Well, kind of difficult when you have the backpack overall, because if the backpack is attached, these swivels right here will always swivel with it. So there's that. You can get your standard action base, which I'm just using the one that Bandai gives you in like those plastic bags. So there is that. So you just want to attach it in like so, and there you have it on a action base, I guess. I'm not really sure what pose to put this in. There's not a whole lot of posing options. It's not very aerodynamic, so that's probably why. The articulation is also not the best, but I can just put that into here, here, and then slide it into there. And there you have that. It's on an action base in a pose. Just a little bit like that. And there we have the high grade Forbidden Gundam. Do I recommend this? Yes. Just like the Calamity and Providence, I think these are great kits for if you want something older, something that feels ancient. These kits are from 2012, which is, wow, a little over 10 years ago. But yeah, so I do recommend this. Again, these type of kits have their issues. Loose weapon holding, color accuracy, joint limitations. But overall, I do think these are good kits. They are Well, mostly because I think that they are good because of how, like, it kind of shows you what gunpla was like back then, compared to now when you have like stuff like the G-Quacks and the Gundam Aerial, which are far different from Gundams like these. But yeah, so I do recommend this, and that's it for this review. If you enjoyed this video or enjoyed the review, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll continue doing more reviews in the future. Not sure what the next review is going to be, but stay tuned for, well, the next video, I guess. But yeah, so that is the high grade Forbidden Gundam, and I will see you guys in the next one.